So it's 10:30 now. We have 42 computers logged on. This is so cool. I'm really excited about this. If you just want to send a message directly, privately to one person, go to the chat and there's a pull down menu and you should be able to choose anybody who's logged on to send a direct private message just to them. So Timothy Dickerson is Tim's handle on there if you need to send a message to him about any tech troubleshooting. All right. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to attempt to put on a prelude for us. Hans has composed and recorded some music for us for today's. I told him, calming music, please. And so that's what he's done for us. And after we sit and listen to a few moments of music, you can keep chatting with each other on the chat while we kind of settle in and relax with this music. And then we're going to get started. And we're going to be, oh, Larry is saying that maybe it's not an option for participants to direct message people. So maybe that's just an option I have. So if you need to get in touch with Tim, he's a panelist. So you can select all panelists and then Tim will see your message about any kind of tech support you might need. So if you need tech support, message all panelists in the chat and Tim will be able to help you. Okay. So we're going to start with our prelude, and feel free to say hello, check in on the chat. There is not a way to see each other on this setting. Hi, Kaya. We'll be providing lots of opportunities to get in touch with each other on Zoom and look at each other's faces on video in the coming days. Today, we're using the webinar setting, which means that you'll only see the presenters and you can talk with each other in the chat by changing the setting to everyone. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our prelude as soon as I can open it up and see how it goes. Let's try this. Okay. Share. Music. And Hi, baby. All right, we've got a worship visitor here in my house. Yeah. And we are going to get to sing, Kira. So I'm going to say a welcome for all of you who have joined. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Columbia online. We are in quite the time, aren't we? And this was quite the decision to feel like we needed to make. And yet we feel really hopeful about this decision to go to only online gathering, because we feel hopeful that this is a way to be responsible to our sacred interdependence, and hopeful that this is a way that we can help our healthcare workers have the support and the kind of societal response that they need in order to get through these times with as many of us doing well as we possibly can. So we are gathering online as an act of community care and as an act of hope in times that are feeling really uncertain. And I'm just so glad to see all of your names popping up over there, and to know that our community is in no ways bound by the walls of our building, but that we are here for one another in all kinds of ways and spaces. I want to tell you that your staff and volunteers have been talking a lot about how we can offer robust spiritual support during this time when we need it more than ever. And so you'll be hearing from us in the next few days. We will be offering online ministries and phone and email and text and all the different kinds of ministries to you. And we will also be offering the opportunity for you to engage in the ministries of the church. We'll be developing some ways for you to offer what you have to be able to support our shared community. So just know that we are going to be doing church even more than ever because we need it even more than ever, and we're not going to let physical distance stop us. So I just wanted to start by saying that, and then give you just a couple of tech orientation thoughts, especially for those who have joined in the last few minutes. So if you already heard this 6 different times, I'm sorry. But so we are on Zoom. This is our web conferencing platform. We are also live streaming this through our Facebook page. So hello, if you're watching there. If you're watching on Facebook, you'll be able to engage in the comments. And if you're watching here on Zoom, you're going to be able to engage in the chat. And so on your little bar of your kind of control bar, there's an option that says chat you can click on to open up the chat box. And then if you want to send a message to everyone, there's a little drop down menu where it says to, where you can change it to everyone, and then everyone can see what you've had to say. And then if you just need some tech help or need to send a message to just the panelists, then you can click all panelists and send a message there. So we are on what is called webinar setting, which means that you are only going to be able to see me and Jeremy and Jamila for this gathering. Part of why we do that is because it means that we're not hearing lots of feedback from everybody's different environments. We can create a more kind of controlled, peaceful online environment. But we will absolutely be offering lots of different ways to use Zoom to see each other in the coming days. And we'd love your feedback about all this if you want to pop me an email at minister@uucomo.org. This is what we're trying for today. It's the webinar setting. So there's no video of you being seen, there's no audio of you being heard. If the dog is barking in the background, not a problem. If you're in your pajamas on the couch, I think that's a really great decision. Congratulations. And the only audio that we're going to hear is from our panelists. So those are my tech observations. I also just want to observe to you that Zoom has some really cool features for when we are all having meetings on Zoom, or when if next week we're thinking about doing a Zoom coffee hour where everybody's video can be seen. There's some cool features where you can add a background, so I can be with the Northern Lights or at the beach or up in outer space. So for now, I'm just going to be where I am, but this is a cool platform that we will be learning a lot about together in the coming days and weeks. So that is my welcome comments. I want to start with a call to worship that is a poem by Unitarian Universalist Minister Lynn Unger. It's kind of gone viral on social media in the last 3 days since she wrote it, so you may have already seen this, but I would like to read it to you now. It's a poem called Pandemic. What if you thought of it as the Jews consider Sabbath, the most sacred of times? Cease from travel, cease from buying and selling. Give up just for now on trying to make the world different than it is. Sing, pray, touch only those to whom you commit your life. Center down. And when your body has become still, reach out with your heart. Know that we are connected in ways that are terrifying and beautiful. You could hardly deny it now. Know that our lives are in one another's hands. Surely that has come clear. Do not reach out your hands. Reach out your hearts. Reach out your words. Reach out all the tendrils of compassion that move invisibly where we cannot touch. Promise this world your love, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, so long as we all shall live. And now we're going to sing together, which means that you will hear Jeremy singing and that you will join in from home, I hope. And I'm going to stick the words up on the screen. I'll mute myself so you can hear Jeremy. And Jeremy, I think kind of chant, like maybe do it at least more than once, however many times through you want to do. We're going to sing Come, Come, Whoever You Are.
All right, good morning, everybody. I hope everyone can hear me okay. Hi, Jamila, I see you waving. We're going to do this 3 times through. All right, ready and go. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of believing. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, Come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come.
Thank you, Jeremy. So when we were talking about how worship is going to look totally different when it's just in our homes, we were talking about how the staff and we're talking about how we need to have our sacred spaces at home. And Jamila had the idea that our first service, our first online service, could be a time of creating a sacred space in your home that can be your church space where you come to engage with your church community online, or that can just be a real touchstone space for you as we move through these uncertain times, as we perhaps spend more time at home, that together today through our worship, we're going to create an altar or sanctuary or sacred space in our homes that you can return to over and over again to feel connected to each other, connected to your deepest self, connected to love, connected to whatever is sacred to you. So that's going to be the rest of our service together, is that we are going to be inviting you to engage with us in creating sacred space. And Jamila is going to begin by helping us with our chalice.
Hello. Good morning, all. So as we make our sacred space, the first thing to think about is that can make it feel like a UU sacred space is our sacred symbol, a chalice. And so the chalice has 3 parts that I want to go over with you. So the first part is the bowl of a chalice. So this would be an example of a bowl of a chalice. And I think that you can think of this as a very beautiful symbol for how we contain our spirit in life, that it's something that holds, but it's also open. And so for my bowl, I picked this plate. That I picked it because it has spring blossoms, but also because it was in a car accident with me. I had it in my car when I got hit by somebody and it broke, and I glued it back together. And so it makes me think that even when there is something challenging that makes us feel broken, there's still beauty that can hold our spirit. And then the second part of a chalice is the base that elevates it. And again, when I think about how our spirit is held, that it doesn't just sit there, that it's held up by so many things. For some of us, that might be a spirit of life. For some of us, it's our community and our family. The earth could be what holds up our spirit. So for whatever it is, I want you to take a minute to think about what holds up your spirit. And then the final part is usually a candle. So, I want to say here, this was a cup my mom gave me. That's why I picked it to be the thing that holds my spirit up. We usually use a candle. This to me represents our spirit. And so maybe you have a candle at home that can represent that light of your spirit. Maybe you have something else. Maybe you want to put flowers in the center of your chalice, whatever it is that can represent your spirit. So what we want you guys to do right now is to think about creating your chalice. You could use household items like I picked. You could make something out of Play-Doh or clay if you have those. You could make something out of Legos. And just think about those 3 parts, something that holds, something that elevates, and then something that could represent your spirit.
And so we're going to give you about 5 minutes to actually find a chalice in your home and bring it into your space using the things that Jamila just described, whatever that looks like for you. If you'd rather simply sit in your sacred space and meditate or ponder the symbolism of the chalice, that works too. And I'm going to play a video of a song for us to center ourselves with as we all locate our chalice items. So you're going to have about 5 minutes to find a way, either symbolically or really, to create a chalice in your space. Okay. Oh my goodness. Here we go.
I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. No matter where you go, no matter where you've been, you'll never walk alone. I feel you deep within. So I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I am sending you light to heal you, hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. No matter what you feel or what you choose to show, I'm always there for you. And so I want you to know that I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I walk the path with you. Go slow, dear one, don't hurry. I'll go just like you need to go. There is no need to worry, 'cause I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I am sending you light to heal you, to hold you. I am sending you light to hold you in love. I am sending you light to heal you, to hold love.
Amen, right? Yeah. I love all of the updates about the, I love all the updates about what you're using for your chalices. I obviously, being a UU dork, have a chalice, but I've also lit some candles on my altar space as well. And I thought of you all as I lit them, sending you light to heal and hold you. So the next thing we want to do is our unison words of affirmation for those who know them. I'm just realizing that I forgot to make a slide with them. So I'm going to say them. And if you know them by heart, you can say them at home. And if not, then you can hear them. And we'll remember that slide next week. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. May it be so even more than ever. And Jamila is going to lead us now in a centering moment.
So as we think of this chalice as being like that which holds our spirit, that it's holding and open at the same time, that it can be filled and give out at the same time, I want us to take a moment to think what we want to call in. What do we need to fill us right now? What are we feeling a lack of in our life? And I want you in the comments to just write that word of what it is that your spirit is calling out for right now, so that you can give that back to the world. So let's take some time to do that. And I'll read them out as they come up. Optimism, hope and calm, peace, patience, pain relief, security, compassion, understanding, connection, compassion and care, comfort, kindness, hugs, comfort. Okay. Comfort and calmness, solidarity, and hugs and hugs and hugs. May your spirit be filled with all of this and more.
As we've just shared in our centering moment, what we need to receive in this moment, we're going to engage our stones and water ritual virtually by naming in the chat what it is that we need to release into the care of community in this moment. And I invite you, as you see those roll across the chat and as I read those from the chat, to really hold, to be that water for our community and really receive and help release the burdens that we need to lay down in this moment. So I'm going to give us a second to shift over in the chat from we're wrapping up what we needed to receive, and now invite you to post a word or two about the burden that you need to lay down. fear and concern for elderly parents, wishing we were close by family, the disruptions that we're experiencing to our lives right now, worry for adult children in isolation alone, frustration with folks who aren't taking it seriously enough, missing hugs, fear and anxiety, strain on relationships, absolutely. Concern for healthcare workers and our families. Concern for the financial implications to already vulnerable folks. And worry for those who need services that we don't have in place. Oh, worry for a dog that's out. Thinking about what we can't control. Family who are in the heart of areas of viral spread, missing our students and those we encounter in our daily life. Worry for those in the epicenter currently. Yeah, not being able to visit our loved ones. Concern for people overseas. Missing our friends. Concern for family and students in difficult situations. Isolation from dear grandparents and others. Worried for a family member who's immunocompromised. Anxiety, long-term impacts, anxiety about the long-term impacts, anxiety about short-term impacts. Wondering when will there be more test kits, economic ripple effects, physical separation. Concern that it's going to get worse. Concern for people who are already at greater political risk. Gratitude for our tech alternatives. Concern for not being able to connect with choir members and ensembles and music in the same way. Yeah, concern for people already facing health issues. Anger that this won't actually change our political and social structures like we have the potential to do. Anger, yeah. Friends, will you join me in holding all of this together by breathing together wherever we are? I'm going to invite you into a kind of breathing that calms and soothes the body. Because our heartbeats speed up when we breathe in and slow down when we breathe out, we're going to do some 4-7-8 breathing to slow down our systems and relax them. So I'm going to invite you to breathe in to the count of 4, hold for 7, breathe out to the count of 8. And if that doesn't work for your body and its status right now, then continue to just pay attention to your breath. So we're going to do this in each of our homes and just imagine your breath in, pulling in love from all over Colombia and actually all over the country and world as we are spread out. And imagine your breath breathing out all of those cares and concerns and worry, but also breathing out love to all those whom you're worried about in these times. So we're going to start to breathe. Let's go in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more time, in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. May you find healing in our breath and in knowing that it links us to one another and indeed to everyone around us. We are going to end this time of joys and sorrows prayer by singing Spirit of Life, written as a prayer. And I'm going to pull up the lyrics and turn it over to Jeremy to tell us how many times we will sing it and to lead us.
All right, good morning, everybody. For those that do have their hymnals at home, this is 123 in the hymnal. We will do this twice through, please. All right, ready? Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Thank you, Jeremy. Now we are going to go into creating our sacred spaces a little more. What we'll do for each thing is I'm going to offer a reading, And then we'll talk briefly about the kind of item that we're inviting you to bring into your sacred space, and then give you a moment of music to either just meditate on that or to go actually find the item and bring it into your space. So our first moment is about invoking the strength of our ancestors. And this reading is called It Is That Time and Place by Kyama Raman. And Kyama Raman is an African-American Unitarian Universalist and wrote this reflection out of her experience. And I hope we can hear it both thinking about imagining what her experience might be, but also through the lens of our own experience in this time. Now is the time to call on the memories of the ancestors who thought they could not walk another step toward freedom, and yet they did. It is that time and place to call on the memories of the ancestors who, when the darkness of their lives threatened to take away the hope and light, reached a little deeper and prayed yet another prayer. It is the time and place to remember those who came through the long night to witness another sunrise. It is the time and place to remember the oceans of tears shed to deliver us to this time, to remember the bent knees and bowed backs, to remember the fervent voices asking, begging, beseeching. It is time to remember their laughter and joy, that though they had far less and little reason for optimism, yet they stayed on the path toward a better day. It is time to hold to the steadfast hands and hearts and prayers of ancestors that have brought us this far. Time to make them proud and show them and ourselves what we are made of. Time to show them that their prayers and sacrifices and lives were not in vain and did not go unnoticed. Did you not know that this day would come? Did you not know that we would have to change places? Did you not know that just as our ancestors were delivered, that we would also be delivered? Have you not seen the greatness and power of the creative energy in the universe that moves and has its being through agency? Have you not seen God in your neighbor's faces, in the homeless, in the battered woman, the trafficked child, the undocumented worker, the dispossessed? It is that time and that place to know that it is our turn, that we will leave a legacy for our children and all the children. It is that time and that place. We are the ones we have been waiting for. We have the strength of the ancestors and the calling to become the next ancestors. And so I now invite you to bring into your sacred space something that invokes the resilience and strength of your ancestors. I have added a picture of myself and my mom and my grandmother to remember the nurturing strength and the pioneering women that go back generations in my family. And I've also added my grandmother's vase, which I loved as a child because I was obsessed with The Little Mermaid and it reminded me of Ursula somehow. I don't know exactly how. And which I love now because it's the one thing that I decided to keep from my grandmother's possessions when she died. And this is a powerful talisman of resilience and strength for me because my grandmother lived through the Dust Bowl in Oklahoma and the Great Depression. Her pantry was never less than fully stocked. And my grandmother lost more in her life than I have yet had in mine and knew the deepest reaches of grief. And yet she still had a wicked, joyful laugh and the most bottomless generosity of anyone I knew. So this is a powerful symbol for my sacred space for these times. And I invite you now to find your powerful symbol for the resilience and strength of your ancestors. whether you just think about what that would be or whether you actually go get it and bring it to your space. I'm going to put on some music from Hans for a time of reflection about the strength of your ancestors and or actually bringing something into your space. And if you'd like, you can share in the chat what that is. So let me get the music going. Okay. iTunes. Thank you so much for sharing all of your lovely things that you're adding. Keep them rolling in. How powerful. I hope you're all able to scroll through the chat. Gorgeous. I'll add that at the end of our time together, I'll be asking those who wish to take a photo of their altar if they've created one, or of some of the items that they've described, and post them over in the comments at our Facebook stream, so that we can see each other's Facebook, so that we can see each other's sacred spaces and think of one another in those spaces. The next item I'd like to invite you to bring into your space is going to be something from outside, from our earth. And so our next reading is from Wendell Berry, The Peace of Wild Things. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things, who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world and am free. When the world is uncertain and we are afraid, and when we are hunkering down to avoid exposing ourselves or others to disease, it can be easy to forget that we live in a vast world that is beautiful and generative, and that is right at this moment bursting with life on the verge of spring. But I want to remind you that it is good and safe and very, very necessary during this time to go outside. Put your bare feet in the dirt, ground yourself, look around for all of the hints of new life that are breaking through right now. On my altar, I added, or actually I didn't add, Nora, my 4-year-old, added. She was helping me make the altar this morning. She added a daffodil. We've been going on a lot of walks, and every time there's a new daffodil in our yard, she immediately picks it. So we will not have any daffodils actually in our yard, but this is quite the reminder of the beauty and generativity that is still just pulsing everywhere in this world. And so what I'd like to invite you to do now is take 2-3 minutes and go outside. Take a deep breath of the cool air. Look around at the buds on the trees and the grass and the mud, and then bring back in something for your sacred space that will remind you to ground your feet and look up at the sky and feel that life is stirring in the earth. And if going outside doesn't work for you, then please enjoy another piece from Hans right here. Thank you for sharing all the lovely things you're finding outside. Wild chives, crocus, a piece of sage, watching the birds, purple irises and azaleas already from Memphis. That sounds lovely. Oh, what else? Planting seeds for the garden. Edible wild greens. Gorgeous. James is thinking of those singing from their balconies. Lisa is eating wild onions. Someone is seeing peony shoots, barefoot in the cold, wet grass and finding purple flowers, new leaf and soil-covered rock. Beautiful. Daffodils and peonies coming up, absolutely. Oh, let's not forget to go outside, beloveds. Okay, so the last item for this morning that we'd like to invite you to bring into this space is something precious to you. Something that channels your energy toward hope and survival and love and reaching out. Something that calls you to be the person you want to be in this time. So as we were creating our altar this morning, one of my daughters drew a picture for the altar. And this immediately became the precious to me thing, because I want to be reminded that I want our girls to remember this as a time when we loved our neighbors and cared for our community. And so that is helping me channel my energy this morning. So I invite you in just a second to search out that last precious item for your sacred space. And I would also like to invite you to invoke the practice of community care by practicing generosity if you are able in this time. I'm going to put the link to donate online to the church in the chat. And if you are able to make a small gift for our benevolence funds, we will be working to support people who need support in this time, whose resources are stretched thin by some of these closures. And also invite you to ponder any other way that you can engage in caring for our community writ large right now. So I'm going to put on one more piece from Hans. I'm going to invite you to find that precious last thing for your altar that helps you channel your energy toward how you want to be in these times. And I'm going to post that link in the chat for if you're able to give a gift for our benevolence and discretionary funds. Okay. Music, music. Oh my goodness, I think I need to mute. Thank you again to Hans for the beautiful music today. We have one more reading, and then we're going to sing a hymn and close our time together. So this is a poem / prayer that was just written by a Catholic priest named Father Richard Hendrick. He writes, "Yes, there is fear. Yes, there is isolation. Yes, there is panic buying. Yes, there is sickness. Yes, there is even death. But they say that in Wuhan, after so many years of noise, you can hear the birds again. They say that after just a few weeks of quiet, the sky is no longer thick with fumes, but blue and gray and clear. They say that in the streets of Assisi, people are singing to each other across the empty squares, keeping their windows open so that those who are alone may hear the sounds of family around them. They say that a hotel in the west of Ireland is offering free meals and delivery to the housebound. Today, a young woman I know is busy spreading flyers with her number through the neighborhood so that elders may have someone to call on. Today, churches, synagogues, mosques, and temples are preparing to shelter the homeless, the sick, the weary. All over the world, people are slowing down and reflecting. All over the world, people are looking at their neighbors in a new way. All over the world, people are waking up to a new reality, to how big we really are, to how little control we really have, to what really matters, to love. So we pray, and we remember that yes, there is fear, but there does not have to be hate. Yes, there is isolation, but there does not have to be loneliness. Yes, there is panic buying, but there does not have to be meanness. Yes, there is sickness, but there does not have to be disease of the soul. Yes, there is even death, but there can always be a rebirth of love. Wake to the choices you make as to how to live now. Today, breathe. Listen. Behind the factory noises of your panic, the birds are singing again. The sky is clearing. Spring is coming. And we are always encompassed by love. Open the windows of your soul. And though you may not be able to touch across the empty square, sing. And so we're going to sing. Our final hymn is My Life Flows On, and I will post the lyrics while Jeremy prepares to lead us.
And while Molly gets that up, I just reached out to Hans and said that how appreciative all of you are for his music this morning, and he is beyond touched and moved by your kind words. So he appreciates all of you as well. All right. Here we go. Ready? Sing. My life flows on in endless song above earth's lamentation. I hear the real, though far off hymn that hails a new creation. Through all the tumult and the strife, I hear the music ringing. It sounds an echo in my soul. How can I keep from singing? What though the tempest around me roars? I know the truth, it liveth. What though the darkness round me close? Songs in the night it giveth. No storm can shake my inmost calm, while to that rock I'm clinging. Since love prevails in heaven and earth, how can I keep from singing? When tyrants tremble as they hear the bells of freedom ringing, when friends rejoice both far and near, how can I keep from singing? To prison cell and dungeon vile, our thoughts to them are winging. When friends by shame are undefiled, how can I keep from singing?
Mommy,
Hi, baby. You want to come be with us?
2 minutes.
Okay, here you go.
2 minutes.
Hi, everybody. As we end our gathering, I invite you to put your hand on your heart, to think about your fellow UU churches across our town and country and world, and join me from home in singing our benediction. Now on leaving one another, may we give of hand and heart. Let us share our benediction lovingly before we part. I am wishing you health and hope. I am sending you love. I can't wait to see you next time, when we will find a time soon to gather with all our faces together. And please keep in touch, email, phone, text, Facebook. We're going to be keeping in touch with you. We want to know how things are going for you. Look out for lots of communications in the coming week about how to care for one another and our community, and be cared for by our community. And yeah, sending you love. Take care.